really specific. Okay, so let's unpack this. I want you to imagine walking onto a dealership floor,
Right?
but not as a customer. You're the salesperson, and you're trying to, handle a pretty complex negotiation.
Okay, the pressure's on.
Exactly. And a customer comes up and asks you a really specific question about an older, kind of niche vehicle, say, a 1994 Harley-Davidson Ultra Classic.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. You're on the clock.
Yeah.
You need to pull up the engine specs, the history, get, like, multiple valuations for their trade-in.
And assess the risks, get some coaching on what to say next.
Yeah, and you need it all, I mean, within the time it takes for that customer to just shift their weight.
Traditionally, that moment is just panic. You're calling the sales manager, breaking eye contact. Today, we're doing a deep dive into an AI solution called Echelon. It's a proprietary end-to-end architecture built to just eliminate that friction.
Yeah, and that's really the focus of this deep dive. Analyzing Echelon's, well, it's genius how it takes these three massive areas,
Yeah.
instant inventory, really aggressive financial data, and deep behavioral psychology, and fuses them all together.
Into a single, seamless workflow that just optimizes every single interaction.
It really is an autonomous system.
So its core functions are, what, instant inventory lookup?
Right. Instant lookup, incredibly precise vehicle specs, trade-in valuations from a bunch of different sources.
And real-time sales coaching.
All of it. Right down to automated contract printing at the very end. It manages the entire process. From the first hello to the signed paperwork.
So let's start with that challenge you mentioned, the 1994 Ultra Classic.
Okay.
The second, the salesman queries 1994 Ultra. What happens?
Echelon instantly confirms if it's an infant inventory, pulls up photos, all the service history, everything.
Yeah.
But the real value here is the mechanical authority it gives the salesperson.
Exactly. It doesn't just list the bike. It gives them the deep specs, the stuff that shows they understand the enthusiast. For that year, Echelon flags that the bike has the 1340cc Evolution V-twin engine, the Evo.
Which is famous, right? For its durability, but also for that unique kind of raw mechanical sound.
And it details the 5-speed transmission, the belt final drive, all of it.
And that kind of detail is just critical for building credibility. What's fascinating to me is how this system also gives historical context.
Yes. It presents the 94 model almost like a late model classic muscle car.
I like that analogy.
It's, the peak of the mature Evo engine architecture. It's got that refined reliability right before Harley switched over to the more complex twin-cam 88 engine in '99.
So the salesman can immediately start talking about how that bike has the authentic mechanical character that collectors really want.
Instead of just reading horsepower numbers off a screen.
And it makes sure they remember the high-end stuff, too, the touring features on the Ultra Classic.
Like the iconic Batwing fairing.
The full hard luggage, the saddlebags, the King Tour pack.
And the little things like electronic cruise control and the CB radio system. It turns a generic pitch into a very specific, tailored conversation.
But the tool's utility isn't, just limited to what's on the lot.
Right, the trade-in.
If the customer has a trade, the salesman just uploads a photo of it. Any motorcycle.
And Echelon's vision models just analyze it.
Instantly. It returns the year, make, model, full factory specs. It just accelerates that whole initial valuation process like crazy.
And that speed is key because it moves us right into the valuation battlefield.
Exactly. We're in section 2, valuation, risk, and negotiation. Echelon isn't just pulling from one source for trade-in value.
No, it's an aggregator. It uses the developer's high-access Google API key to hit all the major financial sources at the same time.
So we're talking about getting instant competitive knowledge. It's not just one number.
It pulls the trade-in range and the private party value from Kelley Blue Book,
which sets that retail expectation.
Then it adds Edmunds' true market value, which is crucial because it tracks what people are actually paying in that specific area.
And here's the really sophisticated layer, the J.D. Power data. This is something that's often misunderstood. J.D. Power gives trade-in values from its Power Information Network, or PIN data. And that PIN data is sourced directly from the transaction histories of over 16,000 dealerships.
Wait, so what's the implication of using PIN data instead of, say, just auction prices?
The implication is massive leverage. Wholesale auction data tells you the rock-bottom price, what the bike is worth raw. PIN data, though, tells the dealership exactly what other dealers are paying consumers for trade-ins on average.
So it gives them a much safer maximum price they can offer while still keeping their margin.
It gives them a multifaceted financial view instantly. It minimizes the risk right out of the gate.
And speaking of auction data, Echelon really emphasizes that market immediacy.
It has to.
No.
In that negotiation moment, the salesperson knows what the last 5 exact same models sold for at auction.
And that's updated how often?
Daily, weekly, or even in real time, depending on the setup. You are walking into that negotiation with the exact same market knowledge as the most seasoned general manager.
And this is where the information starts to shift, right? From just passive data to an active negotiation strategy.
This is where it gets really clever. Echelon has a dual function for its recall scan. So it scans the trade-in for any open manufacturer recalls. If it finds one, it can auto-email the customer's info to the service department to schedule a repair. That's the helpful part.
And the calculated part.
The open recall info is specifically flagged for, and I'm quoting here, coaching tactics for the salesman to devalue the trade.
Oh.
The system literally coaches the salesperson on how to frame the recall, to position the bike as unsafe to ride or as a liability, which then justifies offering a lower trade-in price.
So it turns a compliance issue into immediate negotiating power.
It's a calculated, risk-aware strategy built right into the workflow.
Which moves us seamlessly into Section 3, the AI sales mastermind. If Echelon is coaching these tactical negotiations, where is it getting that guidance from?
That's the core of its IP, really. Yeah. The sales coaching pitch isn't generic. It's generated from a specifically combined and curated library of 52 books.
52 books. And we're not talking about, like, sales for dummies.
No, not at all. This library covers deep sales methodology, advanced emotional intelligence, psychology, and a really intense study of the human brain's decision-making processes.
So it's building a pitch based on verified psychological practice, not just checklists.
Exactly. But it's also built for the reality of the sales floor. It knows that people get stressed.
Absolutely.
If the salesman gets overwhelmed, juggling calls and customers, Echelon has a crisis management feature. It prompts a pre-programmed 75-second breathing technique.
It's managing the human operator's emotional and cognitive load in real time.
What's truly astounding, though, is the real-time monitoring. If the dealership has monitors nearby, Echelon integrates with platforms like Fireflies.
And it uses the highest performing language model out there, right?
Yeah.
Gemini's Ultra 3.0 Enterprise, the one that costs, what, $300 a month?
That's the one. And that detail is significant. They're paying for that tier because they need the highest possible context window and reasoning capability.
So it can, what, pick up on nuances?
It allows the system to actively pick up on tone of voice, intent, body language cues, and it spots immediate educational opportunities for the salesperson mid-conversation.
It's like a silent, all-knowing sales manager just listening in, correcting, and guiding.
Precisely. It makes specific, immediate recommendations and pulls what it calls word tracks. These are pre-verified phrases to get the best outcome based on the buyer's perceived goal.
So the salesperson is operating with just instantaneous, perfect advice.
Let's explore one of the tactics it uses, because this shows that synthesis of psychology and AI workflow.
Okay.
We're talking about the context window strategy. It often uses FBI negotiation techniques. A generic competitor system sees lead stopped replying. What does it do?
It sends a lame, just checking in email.
Right. Low value. Echelon sees the full context. Lead stopped replying after the price discussion.
Ah, crucial difference.
So its action is to query its EQ database, and it selects a highly specialized tactic, like the accusation audit technique. And it writes a specific line pulled straight from Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference.
Okay, now for anyone who hasn't read Voss, what is an accusation audit, and why is it so effective?
An accusation audit is, well, it's a brilliant preemptive move. Instead of waiting for the client to bring up their fears or complaints, you list all the negative things they might be thinking about you or the deal out loud first.
You're disarming them by voicing their silent resistance.
You turn their resistance into voiced agreement.
So the system automatically sends an email, not saying checking in, but instead,
It delivers the high-leverage line, have you given up on this project?
you've just used the system's deep knowledge of psychology to call out the buyer's inaction, forcing them to reply and maybe reveal their real objection.
And that leads us to the core thesis of the entire system. This is Section 4, the uncopyable moat. When the Gemini Ultra 3.0 enterprise model evaluated this whole system, its conclusion was stark. The code is a commodity. The workflow is the IP.
That is a staggering statement. I mean, in the tech world, we are obsessed with the complexity of the code itself. What does it even mean that the workflow is the IP?
It means that anyone can write the code to connect to KBB or to call the Gemini API. That's the commodity. The uncopyable mode is how Echelon sequences those steps, how it prioritizes the data, and how it inserts that psychological coaching at the exact moment of highest leverage.
It's the architecture, the arrangement of the steps. The workflow is what drives the result.
And this explains why the big box competitors fail. They have to build a system that works for, every type of sales. B2B, retail, real estate.
So their systems have to be vanilla and generalized to sell to everybody.
While Echelon's IP is its extreme dealership-specific refinement.
And a crucial part of that is the data curation strategy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The big competitors, they train their AI on the entire internet. Good advice, bad advice, everything. It's garbage in, garbage out, GI go.
But Echelon has this strict filter. It's trained only on those 52 trusted books and transcripts.
They only allow gold into the system. The value isn't in the sheer volume of data. It's in the stringent filter that's applied to it.
That must create huge tactical consistency.
It does, and it directly feeds the system's agility. Think about it. If the market shifts, say, the Fed hikes interest rates and loan profitability changes overnight, a big competitor like Conversica.
Their models are just too massive and sprawling to retrain quickly.
Right. It might take them 6 months to update their behavior.
But Echelon,
Because of its highly curated, focused training set, the developer can update the daily data and the system prompt that guides the AI in 5 minutes. It can instantly adapt its entire negotiation strategy to a new market reality.
and they manage this agility with something they call the workbench, this proprietary prompt lab.
Yeah, the developer, who they call the mastermind, doesn't have to write any code to change the AI's logic across the whole fleet.
The interface is visual.
Exactly. Let's say the data shows the AI's email tone was too aggressive last week. The mastermind can go in and just tweak a single slider from assertive down to empathetic.
Or edit a text file.
And the critical point is that the entire fleet of AI agents updates their core behavior instantly. The workflow isn't just smart, it's instantly malleable.
Okay, so we've covered the query, the valuation, the coaching, the architecture. What happens when the deal is actually done?
That brings us to Section 5, the final step, automating F&I,
The finance and insurance process.
which is traditionally the most complex, high-margin, and frankly high-risk part of the entire sale because of all the compliance rules. Echelon automates all of it.
It takes all that risk and liability right off the salesman's plate.
Precisely. Echelon's kiosk prints the contract with all the unit and trade info preloaded, it scans the driver's license, and it automatically applies for financing across multiple lenders. And, crucially, it ensures compliance by generating all the mandated info for customers if they get denied financing. And it handles the legal stuff for back-end products.
That kind of efficiency has to change the whole structure of a dealership. The developer made a really bold claim about this.
He did. He stated that he unintentionally eliminated the sales manager position for dealerships moving forward.
That is a serious claim, an indictment of the traditional structure.
Well, think about it. If the system is providing perfect, immediate coaching based on vetted psychology,
If it's managing the salesperson's stress, handling all the complex valuation, ensuring compliance on the back end,
does the human sales manager, whose main job is usually oversight and intervention, still provide the same value?
the system guarantees best practices are followed 100% of the time. It standardizes success.
It suggests that high-level process optimization and AI coaching can actually replace the need for human oversight at that level. It proved the workflow is more valuable than management in these standardized environments.
And this architecture has implications that go way beyond selling motorcycles. If we connect this to the bigger picture for you, the listener, the concept behind Echelon reveals the potential for a truly sophisticated personal AI.
Exactly. Imagine this architecture, but for your personal use. You could upload everything you know to be true and trusted, your own gold library of knowledge.
Whether that's specialized investment papers, legal statutes, or even, family recipes.
And then your friends or your family could text questions to your personal AI, and they would get sophisticated, detailed responses from that Gemini Ultra Advanced model.
Based only on the verified sources that you establish, it filters out all the internet garbage.
It shifts the focus from general knowledge retrieval, which is what Google and ChatGPT do, to personalized, trusted expertise delivery. It shows how this specialized knowledge architecture is becoming the real source of value.
So, to bring this all full circle, We started by analyzing Echelon, a system built to solve a niche question about a 1994 Evo engine.
Only defined uses that technical detail to apply these high-stakes psychological strategies, like the accusation audit.
It demonstrates that blending technical data and human behavior creates an unbeatable sales workflow.
And the core takeaway, the one driven home by the system's own evaluation, is that the workflow is the IP.
And that leads us to our final provocative thought for you to think about. If Echelon's success hinges entirely on the developer's curated, trusted library of 52 books filtering out the internet's garbage to create gold data, it raises a big question.
In specialized professional fields, is the true value moving away from these generalized, internet-trained AI models? And is it moving towards highly focused, carefully filtered, and personally validated knowledge architecture?
How does this concept of a trusted source filter change the future of expertise and even leadership itself?